Welcome, everybody. John Zager, johnzager.com. How's everybody doing today? Good? Good. It's overcast here on the eastern slope. Cold. It says 35, but it's probably feels like 20. Little breeze coming through. Chills it down a little bit more. And we're supposed to get snow. We were supposed to get snow last night, actually. Never showed up. Streets are dry and a little bit of wet in the middle, but no snow yet. Supposed to snow continuously today until tomorrow morning. I don't know, let's just say until about noon tomorrow. That's what I've been seeing. But ranges from 30% chance of snow up to 90% at different hours of the day. So it's cold. Supposed to be this way for the next, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 days. And I don't think they're even sure, so it might go on a lot longer. But I think winter is here on the eastern slope. Been up early, 4 o'clock. Went to the gym, worked out, took a steam, cleaned up and everything. Went to breakfast. I've been working on stuff ever since. But right now, I guess it's about 8 o'clock. So it's light enough to do a video and talk. Oh, here comes the snowflakes. Look at that, 8 o'clock on the dot. So it's lightly snowing right now. Medium-sized flakes. But this looks like it could accumulate within an hour or two. Yesterday we talked about faith a little bit and belief, and that turned out to be a pretty good podcast, YouTube video. Might want to go back and listen to it. I think it went a little long. I think it was like 20 some minutes, but it was still good. Today, I've been thinking about it. I'm kind of wanting to continue a little bit in that path, but basically talking about self-image. We've done that in the past. I don't know how well it turned out, but maybe a year or so back we might have talked about self-image and how important that is to our reality, how we perceive reality. And self-image is like our program. If you've been following me and that sort of thing in neuroscience, you understand, of course, that we all have programs that we were given from before birth all the way up to age 7. And they were given by the adults around us because we are in a state of theta brainwave, which is hypnosis. It's basically hypnosis. So if you go around and watch kids in the store under the age of 7, they have no clue why they're there. They don't even know why they exist, let alone do they have any comprehension of life. And they're totally dependent on the adults in their lives to direct them as to how life is, how it is for their parents, and how it's going to go for them. That plays out. That's actually factual. It plays out, and when you're 27, 37, 47, 57, what you learned then, the program that you received, is who you are today. You had no choice but to be who the program said you are. So the big influence is the adults in your life when you were under the age of 7. They predicted, and it came true, that you would have a self-image of blah, 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 blah. You would be wealthy, you would be poor, you would live in lack, you would live in abundance, you would be a cowboy, you'd be a pilot, you'd be a fireman. I mean, just all kinds of things that were put in your head became your program. And that's the way your life has turned out. Whenever your life gets in conflict or in turmoil, that's your conscious thinking in conflict with your program. Your conscious thoughts are, right, there's 3 brains, the conscious, subconscious, and the analyticals in the middle, right? And so when your conscious brain comes in conflict with your subconscious brain, it's saying, the whole fireman idea isn't working for me anymore, or whatever, right? So that's where reprogramming comes in, and that's where you need to not poo-poo it, but you need to go find somebody, call me if you want, and figure out how to reprogram. It's very, very simple. How to reprogram your program, who you are, your self-image. Okay? So you acquire this self-image of, here's one example, that you're fat, all right? You're heavy, you're overweight, your body isn't athletic. And that becomes your self-image. All the dieting in the world will not matter. No matter how much you eat or how much you don't eat, it doesn't matter, because your self-image determines what your body is going to look like. All right? No book, no $1,000 program where you go and blah, 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 blah. So your self-image determines a lot about you. It determines, and again, think of self-image as a picture, maybe a little movie thing going on about you and who you are, and you can actually see in your mind's eye what you look like. Okay? So you might see yourself as athletic build, yes, okay, slim, I don't know, what's a small size for a woman, 3 or 5 or something like that. You might see yourself as that. You might see yourself as a cowboy, as a nurse, as a doctor, as living in lack. Your mind's eye might have a little movie going all the time, way in the back part of your brain, that shows you living in lack, without a mansion, without a prestigious home, without a really nice car that you have always thought about. You might see yourself living with an older truck, an older car, a rental property that might be an efficiency. Might be a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom in a good neighborhood or a bad neighborhood. But you picture this stuff subconsciously. You don't walk around and like constantly visualize your self-image. It's already back there. It's already inlaid. It's already established. Okay? In a sense, that's your program, and that's who you're going to be in your adult life. All right? So it's pretty simple, but it's a huge, huge part of your life. And it can be good or it can be bad, happy or sad. And you may wonder, I'm not trying to live in lack. I'm not trying to live in the back of my truck. That isn't a conscious thought of mine. It has nothing to do with where I would like to go and what I would like to do. It's your self-image that's running around in the back of your brain. And it's telling you subconsciously who you're going to be, what you're going to look like, how you're going to act, what kind of jobs you're going to have. Just things along that line, right? It's a huge thing. That image, self-image, if you will, based on what you were given early on, before the age of 7, okay, becomes your reality, becomes your hologram. You understand, and we've been through this, that this is just an illusion, right? We're all energy. We're all made up of energy. We're not matter. These pine trees are not matter. Street's not matter. That truck going by is not matter. You know, it's all energy, and it becomes an illusion. It becomes, based on your self-image, an illusion. And as your self-image matures, right, it becomes a hologram. Okay? It becomes a hologram. So your reality now is not hardcore fixed in granite. What a lot of people don't put together with their self-image relating to reality, and whether you're living in lack or abundance, whatever it happens to be, is that they think that can't be changed. The answer to that is that you can change that in an instant. If you want to go from lack to abundance, just go. If you want to go from an efficiency apartment to a really nice home that you just completed building, just go and do it. People get stuck and think there's an improbability that I could ever get ahead. And I guess it could be the other way around. Maybe you're a millionaire, billionaire, whatever, and that's what would it be? It'd be unpleasing to you. And you'd like to scale that down and get into a more modest lifestyle of reality and a self-image that's not of you sitting on some sailboat in St. Bart's. Here's another example, and I'm trying to give a few, but you know, there's people who are addicted to being sick. Now, sick is a, vague term, relative term that could mean anything, but it may mean physical, kind of stuff going on with you. Long term could be terminal type stuff, could be trauma type stuff, could be emotional sicknesses. But we get addicted to the chemistry of being sick. Now, the chemistry of being sick is what? Your emotions. So you might enjoy all of the comments that come to you about your illness or ill health or sickness or whatever it is. And after a period of time, you start thinking, that's a lot of secondary gains, right? And I kind of like that. And I like getting that attention. I don't know if I want to get well. So you find reasons and excuses to stay sick. I know, let's see, well, I know quite a few people like this, but there's a guy, kind of a distant relative, and I don't know him very well at all, but I've observed and watched him, and he's constantly having surgeries. You know, how would I put it? So every time I go over to his house, right? He lives here on the Eastern Slope in the town that I do, and I've known him for, I don't know, 20 years, 30 years. It's hard to say. And I remember way back then, he has a whole bunch of kids, and they never have really made it financially. And I haven't figured this out, but he's figured out some way to get money as a result of all of his surgeries and sicknesses and illnesses. They're down, he and his wife are down on the Gulf Coast right now visiting their kids. Their kids are kind of scattered all over. And, but before he left, he already had plans. This is really funny. He already had plans for another surgery when he would return. He's supposed to be back in a week or 5 days. And he can't even stand to be out of town visiting his kids on a holiday without thinking and obsessing about, boy, I can't wait to get home and have another surgery. That's a self-image, you guys, and that's what he projects out, perceives as his what? Reality, as his hologram, as his illusion, and as his life. That's his life. He loves it. He loves it. And some of these things, he's got different kinds of illnesses every time you talk to him. And I'm not a doctor, so I don't know, and I don't really give a hoot. But that's who he is, and he won't ever be any different, according to him, because he likes staying there. Pathetic. It's just pathetic, right? And mental health people are the same way. Mental health, and again, me, clinical psychology, since I was wrong yesterday, I said 89 and it was actually 69. The fall of 69 is when I started practicing clinical psychology. But these guys, if they're acting like God, or if they're acting like some weird guy, or they have some neurosis or psychotic breaks every now and again, or depressions and anxieties and just crazy stuff, they don't want to change that and get well. Medicine didn't work. I'm still depressed. I'm still bummed out. I still do psychotic off-the-wall things. I like that. But they keep coming back in because they get their secondary gains hopefully not from the therapist, but from all the camaraderie of all the other people that support them wanting to get well, and all that does is just point them back in the direction of more mental health. But so it can be physical, it can be, mental health, emotional kinds of stuff as well. And people like that, and they figured out some way to live that way, and even make a profit out of it. But it is kind of funny. And self-image, it's what that picture is, that little movie going on in the back of their head of what they see themselves doing in life and living their life in such and such a manner. I'm in psychology for so long. It's like when I first started practicing 100 years ago, and I would watch these people. They were hell bent on just, that's who I am, and if you pushed them too hard, they would even get worse because they didn't want to give it up. Here's another sidebar example, okay, and I won't go any further because I'm having too much fun. But so let's say you're a guy, you like the outdoors, and for whatever reason you got into hunting. You're older, your dad brought you up where you went out, I don't know, pheasant hunting or quail hunting or duck and goose and deer and bear and all that kind of stuff. That became your self-image, right? So no matter what, when you grew up, you continued living out that hologram, right? The illusion that you have to live your life as I don't know, a guy that hunts and shoots things. And you learn bow and arrow and black powder and I don't know, whatever else you want to do. and that's it. That's it. Nobody's going to tell you can't do that anymore. If the government comes up with taking your guns away, which they'll never get away with, you would probably go psychotic. It's a program, you guys. It's just a flippin' program that some adult gave you when you were younger. You didn't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to be a world-renowned hunter. That doesn't work that way. Go out and freeze your ass in the middle of the winter with snow and blizzard, following tracks in the snow to kill something. It doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. It's a picture. It's a picture movie. It's a hologram. It's an illusion. You weren't born to be a hunter. You weren't born to be that. Somebody gave that to you. And what's the opposite of that? Fishing, I guess. There's hunting and then there's fishing. And if you're a fisherman, well, that's just as nice as being a hunter. But you didn't wake up one day and say, well, I'm a fisherman now the rest of my life. And that's what my self-image is. And when I sit in the easy chair at night and watch TV, which is also a program, by the way, and you gaze off into the window looking outside while the TV's on, and you have these little stupid movies going of you fishing and catching some, 32, 42 pound cutthroat, out in Nevada. Well, we all go out to Nevada and catch a 22 or 32 pound cutthroat up in the lake. That's just a fun thing to do. But that doesn't make me in my self-image as a fisherman. Can I fish? Yes. Can I fish very, very well? Yes, I can. But it's a flippin' program that somebody gave me, and so I like it, but I can also leave it. I don't have to have it, and then you get into, and just take it to anywhere you want to go. But with the hunting and the fishing, and then all of a sudden, the delusion comes into the picture when the politics enter, with all the places that you work and the people you interact with, and the whole hologram and illusion gets all distorted when politics get involved. And then you can even take it into fly tie-in. Oh my God. and me, my craziness comes out just as much, because I've learned to love steelhead fishing. If it were up to me, I'd spend, if I had the money, I wouldn't be here talking to you, I can tell you that. I'd be out in the Pacific coast, on those rivers going into the ocean, catching as many goddamn steelhead as I can, as big as I can find them, or be down in the Gulf. I mean, anyway, I got carried away. That's kind of my psychotic, whatever, break there. And self-image is the self-image. And it's important to evaluate that, probably not just by yourself, because you probably need some help, but you probably need to find some professional person, not like me, that can kind of clean up your act so that there's other time available for you to spend with your family, your kids, your grandkids, and do other things other than hunt the high Sierras with a 45-70. I mean, I don't know. But anyway, somebody just came in behind me, so I was just looking. Sorry. Self-image. Self-image is a program that you were given, and it determines what your perception is of reality. It's just that simple. And in order to live a somewhat healthy life, when you're having a difficult battle in your head with things aren't agreeing with your conscious, that's your, dreams and desires and wishes and stuff, then it's time to maybe start changing and reprogramming some of that, so that you can do other kinds of things. You can sit out on the street in your truck next to a little park area and talk about this kind of stuff. I mean, I'd rather be fishing. But, it's important to change once in a while. And we don't, when I say we, I'm talking psychology and neuroscience, we don't want you to just make a drastic change and go from being a hunter to, mountain climbing or something. We're looking for something more in the middle there, so that life becomes a different reality than what you're perceiving. And maybe you can squeak in religion or a higher power or something, and do that sort of thing. It's important. But here's the bottom line. The bottom line, how many minutes? 29. The bottom line is that we need to have you swing the bat. I heard that the other day on some YouTube video. I think it was Jake. I forget Jake Dorsey. I forget his last name. But he said, we need to have you just swing the bat once in a while, rather than obsess. That's a mental health disorder, right? Everybody knows that. Obsessive compulsive disorder, right? We need to have you swing the bat at something different than what your crazy program is telling you you are, and your life is, and reality is. Everything can change in an instant. You don't have to be locked into the perception that you have. Quit it. Stop it. That's not who you are. That's who somebody else told you you are, and your life is going to be that way. I live a little bit in lack, right? And I've been in abundance. Trust me, I really have, for a long period of time. And I've been in lack for quite a long period of time. But these are all choices that I'm making, and it's not my program. If I want to go fishing up in the Northwest in the wintertime, that's not a program anymore. That's a choice I make. I get to swing the bat. And sometimes I catch 40 steelhead, and sometimes I catch 2. And then I get to come back and sit on the street and talk to you guys. But I hope you kind of get the idea that you're just not controlled by your self-image. There's a lady over in Australia. What's her name? Mind Movies. Go look that one up. Mind Movies. She came up with a program to where she'll teach you. I mean, it's, go online and you get in one of her classes and she can teach you. Or go to Joe Dispenza's workshop. She has a section of it that she does on Mind Movies. And what it does is it allows you to design what your future looks like, which includes your self-image in the future and your self-image of your reality in the future. And you end up making a movie. Actually, I think she makes you make two or 3 movies. They're just short little, that I'm on my phone. You go to YouTube and you can either make short videos or these more lengthy ones based on how much, I don't know, seniority or something you have. And she allows you to make 2 short little movies, mind movies, she calls them. And it's in anticipation that you'll start breaking the programs that have been given to you. And you no longer fish for steelhead, you now fish for tarpon. You got the idea anyway. So anyway, God bless everybody. Take care of one another, and I'll look forward to talking to y'all again real soon. Thanks a lot. See you. Bye.